It's time to take 5. Now you know.
Sooner or later, we all end up in the doctor's office or even the hospital, and for the most part, get very good care. But it doesn't always work out that way. And in those instances, you definitely want to know what your rights are. Here to help is Brian Denney of the law firm of Searcy Denney. Welcome, Brian.
Thank you, Candy.
What exactly is medical malpractice?
Medical malpractice is when a medical professional in treating someone falls below what's called the medical standard of care, and as a result, someone is either hurt or killed. And the medical standard of care is that care which a reasonable and prudent medical provider, similarly trained under the same circumstances, would provide. One sobering statistic for you on medical malpractice is in the United States, each year, a little over 250,000 people die in hospitals due to medical errors.
How does someone know if they've become a victim of medical malpractice? What are the things to look for?
Usually, if the outcome of the procedure in question or whatever you went to the doctor for ends up being so different than what was expected or what was promised, it's usually a good sign that there might be medical malpractice. However, it's important to note that just because you have a complication that didn't go your way due to a medical procedure or from seeing a doctor or a nurse, it doesn't necessarily mean that medical malpractice occurred, because medicine is not an exact science. That's why it's important for people to, if you do think medical malpractice occurred, to see an attorney that specializes in this area of law to investigate that for you.
Are there things that you can do to avoid becoming a victim of medical malpractice?
One of them, I always tell people, is to be your own advocate. So what does that mean? That means when you go to the doctor's office or to a hospital, try not to be intimidated. Ask questions. You have a right to know what's happening with your body, with your health, right? So if you're prescribed a drug, ask questions. What types of medications does this drug have adverse consequences with? Do I need a second opinion? And sometimes you just need to go get a second opinion. After all, it's your health, it's your life that's on the line, unfortunately.
Can the average person bring about a medical malpractice lawsuit, or do I need to hire an attorney?
Yeah, trying to do this yourself without a trained lawyer is a recipe for disaster. You definitely need a trained medical malpractice lawyer. If you try and go it alone, you're liable to waive your rights in the end.
Are there any specific rules or procedures that you have to follow underneath Florida law to file a claim?
First, you have to have an affidavit by a medical professional in the same specialty as the medical professional that is believed to have caused medical malpractice. And then you have to put that person on notice via a written letter. And then after that, there's a 90-day investigation period where the parties are able to kind of get to the bottom of what happened. And only after that occurs can you bring a case.
And how much time is required to file a claim?
Well, there's some exceptions to this rule, but the safe answer for people that are wondering if they have a claim is it's 2 years from the time that you either know that you've been a victim of medical malpractice or believe that you have been.
And also under Florida law, what are the damages that can be recovered?
So there's really 2 different types of damages, just to keep it real simple. The first are medical bills and expenses in the past and that are reasonably expected to be incurred in the future. And those are the things you can show a receipt for. Secondly, there's something called human damages. And those are the types of damages that there's no receipt to show for them, but oftentimes they're much worse than the medical expenses. For example, if you're unable to perform activities of daily living due to the fact that you've been medical malpractice, that can have a absolute catastrophic impact on your life and the life of your loved ones.
If someone feels they've been the victim of medical malpractice, how can they get a hold of you?
You can get a hold of us at searcylaw.com and also by phone at 686-6300.
Thank you, Brian. That has been
Thank you.
extremely helpful.